Welcome into Real Talk Today. I'm Michael Liptak here with Alex Sanchez and Sydney McIntyre. For the last 12 years, Brian Williams has made up a story about he being shot down in his helicopter in Iraq. And last Wednesday, a couple soldiers who were with him came out and wanted Brian Williams to tell the truth, and it's caused a big controversy. Brian Williams, who's been respected as an anchor for the past 12 years, all of his past stories have been questioned. There's a story out there questioning his reporting from Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans. And I'm going to ask Alex and Sydney what they think about this entire controversy and if they think Brian Williams should still be on air going forward.
I definitely think that he should be fired. I also think that it's kind of detrimental to us as communications majors, especially if we're going into broadcasting or journalism, because he has made a name for himself in that career, and it kind of just like throws everybody under the bus, like, well, who else is lying out there? And so I just would like to see him be fired or, lose his job there, because I do think that if he stays on air, NBC will definitely have a lack of ratings because he's not credible anymore.
Right. Well, and I think it, like you had said, we look up to these newscasters and we look up to news anchors because we're mass comm students. But another thing, people that watch it just to watch it and that aren't mass comm, majors or aren't in that field, some people don't even want to turn on the news because all of it is negative and, sometimes it's depicted wrong or in a wrong fashion or the news is very negative. And so for somebody like this that, is well known in his field to come out and have something like this, I think it's definitely, it doesn't look good, and it makes a name for this department in this field. And it kind of worries me because, where do we go from here, and what do we look at now? And who do we look at, for somebody to look up to?
The funniest thing out of this that I thought was Brian Williams when he came out and said, I don't know what made my memory do that to where I couldn't remember if I was shot down in a helicopter. He's like, that's something you never forget. And it's crazy to think that you would forget about that. So then looking at some of these other stories that had come up about Brian Williams possibly lying about it, there's a story in the USA Today about a New Orleans healthcare worker talking about the French Quarter, about there were no bodies recovered there. Brian Williams said there were. So it's bringing a lot of a doubt to Brian Williams. And as for NBC, I think they at least need to get him off the air. They could still have him as a writer, or producer, but definitely not on air because it's always going to take away their credibility.
Well, and I think as far as the public relations end of it, because that is within our field of mass comm, I think this is their chance. They usually don't have any negative outlook within CBS and within these networks, and so I think this is their chance to, do something for their network and to show them how they can handle, these public relations crises and what they can make of themselves as a network.
And I thought Bill Maher had a funny hit against Brian Williams when he said, well, if NBC fires him, Fox News will probably just hire him right away. So I thought that was fun, making real funny on the situation. And if you'd like to join the conversation, follow us on our Facebook page. Let us know what you think about Brian Williams and what NBC should do going forward.